Yo, what's up, everybody? I've been noticing this video that's been going out online of a young kid named Keaton Jones, and he was explaining how he was bullied at school and all of the various emotions and questions that he has. And I kind of wanted to put my 2 cents in as far as what I think about the subject, especially coming from a place where bullying almost pushed me into a direction of life that almost made me do things that I shouldn't have, and it would have made a lot of people sad. But it got me to really start delving into the the concept of human nature and what tends to go along with that. But I'm gonna play the video. I'm gonna kind of stop. I'm gonna have some pointers I want to point out. Then I'm gonna end off the video with some things that I think need to be addressed, accepted, and put forward into motion. Because the things that I'll mention at the end will explain, this is how you will get it to stop. But I'm gonna transfer over to the video. Gonna play this real quick. Like I said, I'm gonna stop during some of it, kind of talk about it. But here we go.
Just out of curiosity, why do they bully? What's the point of it? Why do you find joy in taking innocent people and finding a way to be mean to them?
All right, that right there is probably one of the questions that I've always been obsessed with. Is why is it so almost primal in school when it comes to kids? And basically, what it comes down to it for me is that as humans, we like to be dominant over each other. And we like to exploit each other for, some people like to exploit each other for personal reasons, financial, sexual, whatever it may be. But in this sort of situation, it's personal because those kids that are bullying Keaton, obviously they're finding some sort of joy in that. And I will say, as far as humans, we are addicted to the concept of symmetry, especially when it comes to people. But I'll dive into that a little bit more in a second.
Not okay.
What do they say to you?
They make fun of my nose. They call me ugly. They say I have no friends.
What'd they do to you at lunch?
Pour milk on me and put a hand down my clothes. Threw bread at me.
Is it just you?
Yep.
Or is it other kids too that feel that way?
Say it's other kids too.
All right, so this sort of situation right here, this kid's getting picked on by a specific group of people, and a lot of the kids within the school have noticed it as well. Now, in this sort of situation, I believe that numbers will outbeat anything in general, and I firmly believe that if a collective group of kids were like, hey, they're picking on Keaton pretty bad, went up to teachers and told their parents, and they got in touch with the school to, kind of help settle the situation, I think it'd be a lot easier on him in the long run. But the thing is it seems like people have a fear notion, or they're just not empathetic as far as speaking up and being not so much defenders of each other, but man, like, in this world, we're all on a ship. If we can't take care of each other, we're all downhill. And as something as small as school kind of shows the direction we are going in as far as humanity, because we haven't really changed. I promise you that much.
How's that make you feel?
Since we're kids.
I like that they do it to me, and I for sure don't like that they do it to other people, because it's not okay. People that are different don't need to be criticized criticized about it.
See, this is where I kind of fell into this category. Is I you know, not everybody in this life is um. I guess the best way I could put it is there's a specific mold for the most part that people want to put other people in, and they got to fit this, and they got to act this way, and they got to look like this, they got to dress like this, and the fact that being different is now considered a bad thing is truly scary, because that's just going to cause people, which I'll be honest, from my standpoint, is it kept me in a hole of actually not being myself, and that alone is very dangerous, because if you're not yourself, you just get caught up in your mind way too much, and you just snowball from there. But like I said, we are addicted to the whole humans are addicted to the whole idea of symmetry and patterns and the mold and that sort of thing. And anytime someone is outside that mold, they are just looked at like they're nothing. And then kids start being mean. And I mean, you can take a look back at some of the things as far as bullying in the past and what's actually happened and what it's caused kids to do. Case in point, Columbine. Like, this is a very serious issue. And I kind of want to address, at the end of the video, what can be done. And I'm going to play out the rest of this video.
It's not their fault. But if you are made fun of, just don't let it bother you. Just stay strong, I guess. It's hard. But it'll probably get better one day.
Five most racist moments caught on camera. Okay. The one thing I will say for Keaton is I appreciate that he is so strong to be able to be like, what, it's gonna get better one day. It will. It will. And as of right now, I have a little niece and nephew who have been getting bullied at school quite a bit. And for the first time, being on the outside looking in, to see the life absolutely, to see a smile completely sucked right out of their faces and right out of their souls, and they just have this, you could feel what they feel, and it's just like that they aren't essentially good enough because they don't do this or do that, you know what I mean? And my talk with them was, I had a talk with, I'm not going to say their actual names, but I had a talk with my nephew and niece. I told my nephew that he needs to start standing up for himself. If anything physical does happen, first of all, you gotta let parents, teachers, principal know. But after that point, when it continues on, then you gotta do what you gotta do to keep that little bit of happiness and keep people from diving into that. And with my niece, there's boys making fun of her because she smiles too much. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, could you imagine smiling too much because you're too happy and people are just like, hey, fuck you, stop smiling. Like, why are you smiling so much? There's nothing to be happy about. Like, that's pretty fucked up. But anyways, I just want to address three things real quick. Bullying will never stop. It's existed for so long, way before my time. It even stems from little kid up to being an adult in your workplace, going out and that sort of thing. We are very much bred into a competitive society, and that alone is what makes people kind of do what they do. And on a smaller term level, school kind of sets that sort of society up to be where it is today. the one thing I wish parents would start doing a little bit more is teaching their kids not to play the victim role in those sort of situations. Um, I'm a firm believer, even though as little, I've gotten expelled from, or not expelled, I've gotten suspended from school several times for basically beating up kids that were making fun of my friends that just so happen to be different. Like my whole life, I've been rolling with, kids that were different because I appreciated where they came from and they weren't all stuck in the same sort of mold. But for me, I was bullied quite a bit, and then I kind of lashed out a little bit, and people were like, "Oh, okay." Like they kind of took a step back a little bit. Um, Parents that are watching this, teach your children to be strong, teach them to be tough, teach them to not take shit from no one, because as soon as that starts happening, it's gonna start snowballing into other things outside of school. Personally, it can even go up into the later years of their life. Um, I just, man, like, the best way I can put it is if I was Keaton's friend and I saw that all the other kids weren't doing shit, dude, I'd beat the shit out of those fucking bullies, because you wanna know why? There's no way a kid should go to school where he's supposed to learn and he's more focused on what the fuck's gonna happen today. What are these kids gonna do to me? It's fucked up. I firmly believe that the kids that are bullying Keaton need a fucking strong ass whooping, and enough to instill fear into them and make them think twice about fucking with anybody else. And then the other thing I wanted to say too is at the end of the video, he said, "Don't let it bother you." He is starting to catch on to the thinking that I've adopted, that the things that happen in this life, what people throw at you, you allow it to either affect you or not. In that sort of situation, they're being a little bit more physical, but he's starting to catch on to the concept of like, so what, they said my nose is, weird looking or funny looking or whatever he said. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you know who you are, that's what it comes down to. But I really wish the best to that kid. I really hope he grows up and he is the fucking man. But that's all I have to say on this subject. Keaton, if you somehow stumble across this video, man, I really hope that those kids stop what they're doing. And then I really hope you get the peace that you deserve in school to be able to study and excel in this life without absolute fucking idiots ruining the little bit of happiness that you have. With that, I'm done, and peace.